Hello guys, welcome back to Developers Monk, and today we are going to see the demonstration of work managers in Android. Okay, so for the basic demonstration, what I thought was I'll use Firebase real-time database. So this is a temporary database of my previous application which I was working on, so you could ignore the other things. So basically what I was thinking is that I'll use this database to exactly see how the work manager works, and you could actually learn how to use it in this tutorial. There are two types of work request in work manager. The first one is one-time work request, which is only executed once, whereas the second one is periodic work request, which is executed again and again at a particular period of time. Okay, so we'll see both of their demonstrations one by one. So starting with the one-time work request, let's get to the Android project which I have made ready. It's just a simple project, a start worker button and a simple text view. Okay, and other than that, there's this main activity where I have initiated these views, which is button and a text view. And if you have just started a project, then you'll have to add this particular implementation also in your builder Gradle of app level. Okay, so heading back to our main activity, the first thing which we have to do here is we have to create a new class. And so I'm going to create a new Kotlin class and name it my worker. Okay, so this my worker class is the class where I'll be defining what exactly is the work which I have to be executing. Okay, so I have to extend it with worker. So worker is a class which is responsible for all the working of stuff and implement the method. So inside this worker class, the important method is do work. This method is called whenever this particular work request will be fulfilled and this worker will be called. Okay, so inside this we have to do whatever we have to do. And what I'm thinking right now is that inside this Firebase, what I'll do is when I start a new worker, what I'll do is I'll set a timestamp that okay, at this particular time the worker was started, and when that worker will be called, I will set another timestamp that at this particular time the worker was called. So this will give us a real-time demonstration and a real-time picture of how work managers work and when they are exactly called. Okay, so less talking and more working. Going to main activity now. We have a worker. So going to main activity, I'm going to create a listener to this button. Okay, so creating a function, load interactions. I usually have all my listeners and other interaction stuff inside a function known as load interactions. So now here btn start.set on click listener. And inside this, now what we have to do is we have to start a worker. Okay, so to start a worker, we have to create a work request first. And in this case, as we are going with one-time work request first, so we are going to create a one-time work request builder, and type of it is my worker. Okay, the class which we just created, and storing it in a variable named request of type one-time work request equals to this. Yeah. So now as it's a builder, so we have to build it, setting some constraints or other things that we want. So we do not need any constraint. All we need is we'll have an initial delay of say 5 minutes. That's enough. Okay. Although initial delays are not important if you are, you know, using one-time work request, but if you need, you could set an initial delay. Otherwise, it will be called the next second itself. Okay. If you want, you could also set some constraints. I'm going to set a constraint that I need internet because we are going to access Firebase. So we have to create a constraint. So going to constraints dot builder and dot set required network type dot connected. So we have set a constraint that we need network to be connected, then only this particular worker should be called. Now it does not matter if 5 minutes are passed, but still if internet is not available, then this particular worker will not be called until internet is available. Okay, so let's say internet was available at 6th minute, then it will be called at 6th minute. Okay, so now we just have to build it. That's it. We have created the request. We just have to pass this request to work manager. So to do that, we'll just create an instance of work manager. Work manager dot get instance, passing in the context dot enqueue. So let's just enqueue it. So request. Okay, so we have enqueued this request, so this particular request will be called, and now we'll set the status of text view to worker or work request enqueued. Okay, yeah, that's it. Now our work from this side is done. Okay, just a second. We have also one thing to do, that is Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference. Okay, inside work manager, and this is one time and start time dot set value calendar dot get instance dot time dot toString. So this will set the value at work manager slash one time slash start to current timestamp. Okay, the same we are going to do inside work manager. So when this work manager is called, we are just going to do the exact same thing. We are going to set, but instead of at start, we are going to set at called. Okay, so this particular value is that inside work manager one time called, current timestamp of the time when work was actually done will be called. We have to return some results, so we are going to return result dot success. Okay, so this is done now, and we could test it now. So let's just run it. Okay, so heading back to Firebase to see, when it starts in real time. So clicking on Start Worker and Worker enqueued, and you could see that here we got one time with start. Now exactly after 5 minutes, I'm going to have a time leap here, and exactly after 5 minutes, you'll see that we'll get an, what completed or what we set it called property also with that particular timestamp. Okay, so now let's just do one more thing. I'll just go to the emulator and close this application, because work managers are supposed to work, does not matter whether your application is running or not. So I'm going to close this application, and here I have closed it, and now it should run, does not matter whether our application is running or not, and in this case it is not running. Okay, so 5 minutes are about to get over, and we could get the called property anytime now here. And here we got, and the thing to notice that inside our emulator you could see that our application is not running. Okay, it is not running, and I'm just going to open it again. So just you could see that, see, it just started afresh. Okay, so now this was the one-time work request. Now we are going to see the periodic work request. So getting back here, we are going to change this request type. We are just going to change this request type to request of periodic work request, periodic work request builder. Again, the type will be same, because we have to do the same work. It's just that we'll do it in different periods. Okay, so inside this we have to pass now repeat interval, and for that, let's say, so inside this we have to pass repeat interval and time unit and stuff like that. So the first thing which we have to note is that repeat interval should be a minimum of 15 minutes, because if it is less than that, then automatically your work manager might not work, and even if it is less than that, then also the minimum will be treated as 15 minutes only. So let's just set it to 15 minutes. And the next thing is flex time interval. It is like a range of time at the end of your 15 minutes or at the end of your repeat interval, and your task will be done at that particular time range. So let's say your flex time is 5 minutes and your repeat interval is 15 minutes. So now your work will be done anytime between from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. Okay, so I hope you get it, 15 plus minus flex interval. Okay, so now let's just set it to 0, because we do not need any flex interval here. And same goes here, you would set time unit to anything, because we are not using it anyways. Okay, and now we just build it, and before building, actually we could set constraints again as we did in one time request. So again I'm going to set the same constraint, that constraints dot builder dot set required network type dot connected dot build. And yeah, that's it. We do not need anything else here. So request is done. We just have to, okay, request is also passed here, and we could say that work request periodic is in queue. Now only thing which we have to change is this Firebase location. Okay, so just see what I'm about to do. So instead of setting this current timestamp as value, I'll set this as the key, and in the value I'll just set started. Okay, because this is recurring, so we want to capture more than 2. And now inside my worker, replace this as well, and yeah, same thing here, and instead of started, we are going to just do current timestamp here. Okay, periodic and system dot current time millis. Okay, so I'm just going to run it now, and what should happen is that first initially this particular start date will be set, and afterwards whenever this particular periodic thing is called again and again, a new value will be called. So we'll see it. Okay, and again I'm going to show a time leap. Okay, and we could actually see the timestamp also, so we could compare when exactly it was called. So let's just run it. Now going back to Firebase, let's just start this worker, and periodic worker started, and here we got a periodic of started. This is the start timestamp. Okay, so as you could see that our periodic worker has executed like 4 times, and the time difference between all of its execution is more or less 15 minutes. So as you could see that the first time it was at 10:07, then at 10:18, then 10:33, and so on. Okay, so now the thing to notice that the first execution was somewhat at 11 minutes and 6 seconds, whereas afterwards if you see it is exactly after 15 minutes. So sometimes it gets a bit delayed, and sometimes it gets executed prior to its time, but that does not matter. It gives us a guarantee that it will be executed whenever the conditions are met. So that's it for this video. Okay, if you like this video, then please do like, share, and subscribe. And I'm already planning about new videos, and I'll be coming up with them really soon, so stay tuned.